the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, and the Nigerian Communications Satellite Limited, NIGCOMSAT, have jointly unveiled the big picture, a sweeping reinvention of the nation's digital switchover project. To shed more light on it, we have with us the head corporate affairs broadcasting. No, we don't. We have the DG himself. We have the DG of the National Broadcasting Commission, Mr. Charles Ebuebu. Welcome to the show, sir. Good to have you on the show. Tell us again, what exactly is this big picture vision that you have?
Okay, in a nutshell, it's basically a shift from the terrestrial broadcast of the DSO, digital switchover, to a satellite-focused initiative to be able to cover the country all at once, with several innovations on the back of it. That's what the big picture is about.
So instead of individual switching,
instead of you having terrestrial towers all over, which takes time, takes a lot of resources, you know, funding and all of that, with timelines, you have the digital switchover with satellite, which covers the country from day one.
So
that's what it's about.
DSO is not a new word.
Yes,
we've been hearing there's going to be a digital switchover. There was a time Mariah came back with so much excitement. Well, 10 years ago, she was like, there's going to be a digital switchover. All of our programs are going to... she was like, all our programs, now we will see the true value, the numbers. So it feels like, okay, another move is coming, but we seem to be hearing the same thing. Now, the big picture sounds interesting, but for those that have been eagerly awaiting the ability to freely use the digital platform to push their content, what is the timeline they're looking at to start seeing this opportunity materialize? Because many of them have waited for a very long time.
Okay. So, you know, let me start from this point. There were a lot of systemic challenges, you know. We've said some of it previously, funding, you know, for right now, you know, conservatively, you need about 3 stars to be able to cover transmission in a state, conservatively.
Just one state?
One state. And it costs about $1 million to set it up. Not talk about operations and all of that, right? None of those, you know, for you to be able to put in that investment, you'll be able to see your return on investment. Now we have about 8 states. They're not getting that, which is why the signal distributors concentrate on the cities where you have the mass. That's where, you know, because you have that running cost, diesel and all of that. You broadcasters face it. So you see, those challenges have come up. Number 2, funding. Number 3, the white paper. When it was drawn up, it was more focused on the technology. Yes, there was mention of content, but it didn't quite talk about how the content will be built, how you have a marketplace, advertising on the back of it, which is what free-to-air broadcasters survive on and all of that. So now we're going back, we're re-strategizing. It's not going to be the way it was before. You know, in talking about the big picture, if I can just give an example, with us partnering with NIGCOMSAT, which is Nigeria for Nigeria, what we're doing is that we're putting up all the channels on satellite. So from day one, rather than where, you know, we'll launch a state.
Let me be sure that, because what Nigerians understood, or what we sold to Nigerians before, is that there'll be 3 major carriers. That instead of turning on your analog, right, your normal antenna system channel, that you throw it away. Now everybody will now have to buy a decoder, right? That is now regionalized. So maybe one is for southwest, one is for northeast, whatever it is, or 3, or anyway. I'm just saying 3 major decoders you buy. Now, with your cable, with your DSTV, with your GoTV, everything will be on that same box. You now subscribe. That's you switching over. Now, you're saying that that is no longer necessary because we're now switching us over from the satellite. Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
How does that play out?
Let me explain the technology aspect of it. So, you're right. With digital terrestrial broadcast, right, what you have is that you need a decoder, the structure the way it is, to be able to have access to those channels in a nutshell. What we're introducing now is that we're going by way of satellite first. We're covering the entire country, like I said. Now we're going to open up the signal. So even if you do not have those decoders, you're going to have access. You're going to have, so we're pitching that in the next 3 to 4 months, you're going to have 100+ channels.
Gotcha.
All our channels that talks about our culture, education, general entertainment, we'll bring in sports, everything will be carried there all at once.
Okay. So let me also make it clearer.
And then, sorry, just before you ask. So when we open it up, you don't just need those decoders which we have sold. Okay. If you have existing decoders which are not locked to signals, you will receive it. Oh, we're also coming out with the DSO app. So even on your laptops, on your phone, you would still have access. So it's going to be both IP-based and DTH-based.
So whether you buy a decoder or not, you have access. You have access. So I can plug my television straight, and then I have access.
Now, when you for your television, you know, if you have a TV that has a satellite tuner in it, some of those TVs have it. Then it goes. Now, if you also have an IP-based TV, you would also have access to those signals.
So let me ask you this question. How does this benefit content creators?
Okay. So, you know, first, in opening up this, we need to build the ecosystem for the creatives to be able to showcase. One, to be able to have visibility, to be able to distribute, and then to monetize. So part of the initiatives, which is what you asked me that we're bringing into place, we're going to put in the audience measurement. First, before going into audience measurement, we're going to give you wide viewership. Now it's not restricted to, we're distributed about 1 million+ decoders, but now it's everyone is going to have access, right? We have about people who have about 10 million+ decoders, which are in the country. I don't want to mention names of those brands, but you could just, all you need to do is align your dish, put on your decoders, and you're viewing it. Then you're going to have it on IP. You're going to have access on your phone, your laptops, your smart TVs. So it's going to give visibility to the creatives, right? Then we're going to introduce audience measurements, you know. Then we're also going to use, the president has been gracious to give us funding. We're going to pay for a call center to have people, you know, we're going to have publicity, marketing. There's going to be massive on all media platforms, you know, traditional media platforms, digital platforms. People are going to understand what DSO means in a nutshell, unlike what it was before. I'm
so excited about the audience measurement because, you know, because currently, for those who don't understand, currently we use that diary system where people actually have the questionnaires to ask what do you watch,
which is largely unverified.
Which is very, but that's what the industry has been using for years and decades. And we've been told several times that we're going to have with the DSO, we'll be able to measure audience properly. But now with this, the reality is that we're going to have the real accurate data.
Scientific measurement.
So currently we are doing about 3 million. Your view is doing about 3 million, you can say. But with this now, we can actually now accurately see, your view might be doing 25 million audience. We don't know viewers. Because we're not getting more accurate numbers, and then you can then go marketing.
That's what it's
now, my question is, a lot of people are also, they're always worried about the metrics in using to determine these numbers because, you know, in the past, we've depended a lot on the cable that comes from a different country. How accurate or how dependable would these metrics be for marketers and buyers to say, okay, this is the way we're going to use?
Okay. So before now, a company called First Media has been appointed for this purpose to provide this service. Now, they're utilizing the software that has been used and proven, presently in use in Bulgaria, and is used, you know, to provide all the data-driven information you need to, you know, for the channels, for content, viewer audience, behavior, and all of that. It's been tried and tested. That same technology, they have deployed here. They've done a proof of concept, which they had over 60 homes, you know, and they installed panels with, you know, data coming in. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, they made a presentation before him, and all of this has been tried. So we're not just bringing in something, it's verifiable, you know, and it's going to be independent of all our stakeholders so that you can have verifiable sources to have these measurements, which will drive the creatives and will drive revenue, you know, advertising revenue.
I want to understand a bit more about the economics, you know, because before we knew if you get the box, you will subscribe, that's how you make money. But now it's free-ish, like from what you explained. If it's on satellite, it means I can just tuning.
With audience measurement, you'll be able to see content, drive content, advertising. I mean, what you do now, a lot of broadcasters rather, they dispense airtime. That is not a sustainable funding, you know, for the platforms. It should be driven by advertising, you know. You know.
Yeah, so let's talk about because you mentioned earlier about 100 channels will just be in the, you know, and I would like to know what sort of content would dominate that 100 channels. What sort of content are we looking to have? So
when you say dominate, now we're going to put everyone except what our code presently prohibits, like religious channels right now. Okay. We're putting everyone on board there. It cuts across our culture. Some of them are language-based, some of them are regional, general entertainment, sports channels. We're putting everything on board. Now, that's the first phase. At the second phase, we're going to basically put it like a platform is run. You know, you have where you have EPGs with numbering, so you could have a batching of general entertainment, and then the audience measurement will determine those who take preeminence or become compelling content of sorts. You know, okay. So all of those, yes. But at the initial stage, we're going to put everything for Nigerians to see, and then those metrics will play out, and then we will, you know.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you. I'm a bit confused. So help me understand.
Let me correct that. Yeah. Now, when we talk about the big picture, there are a whole lot of stakeholders. Okay. It's not NIGCOMSAT that will be providing the audience measurement. Okay. It's still the First Media partnering with the Bulgarian company. Okay. They're still, so, you know, you have NIGCOMSAT, of course, NBC oversees everything. NIGCOMSAT will provide satellite capacity. Some sort of the ground services would also come from there. You have a different company that will do the call center. First Media is going to provide audience measurement. You know, a different company will provide publicity, another will provide marketing, and they're all going to be, you know, they're going to have contracts and all that. They will be seen to do, they will do their deliverables.
To show the channels clearly for Nigerians.
So, still within the area of implementation partners, you've already listed some of them. Are there other implementation partners? Because as a business person, I'm like, okay, if this new stuff is about to roll out, are there opportunities for...
So definitely, one of our major partners is going to be Born, right? It's Born, actually. Organization of Nigeria. Now, the thing is that I had informed them I was going to call a meeting. There was some misconception put out there that the NBC was just going to jettison all the terrestrial infrastructure and investment. That's not true, right? The DSO was started, you know, about 10 years ago. We had some hitches, you know, on several, and there have been some failures around. But we're trying to correct this. Now, we needed to go back to the drawing board to make sure our plans was near perfect before we engage. So we're going to definitely, for content, you know, which is the major stakeholder there, content producers and the creatives, we're going to engage everyone, put our ideas out there, allow us going to pay you. If all he's getting is dispensing airtimes, most times you pay them to air. But if they're getting there's audience measurement and they're getting a lot of revenue, return on investment from advertising and all that, it will be easy for anyone to pay you.
What platform would she be on?
No, provided, right, they have compelling content, because now we'll measure the numbers, put out the numbers. You are free to take your content to company A, provided you've seen the metrics and you say, oh, they have viewership, either in terms of kind of content or in terms of hours or whatever. You know, or across platforms, content that, you know, people watch, whether it's on TV, on the internet, or all of that. You then have greater choice, because then you can monetize. You're in a better position. That's what we're doing.
And they say this in developed countries, all these other countries where a show doing well gets more payment, because you can see the ratings. And a show that doesn't do well, they can cut it off because they realize that
it's just in a way like football relegation. You're either in the first division or... That's how, you know, that's
those panels will do that for us. Once it's installed, you can see 15, because I think it's per 50, every 15 minutes, you know, when the audience leaves the room, when they're still watching, live, you can see it real time.
We would engage, I would get the MBC, because you see, like, in a way, like a YouTube, you have everybody up there, but there are certain content which takes preeminence that even some of them go under subscription. Right. You follow the numbers, you're able to get advertising revenue. That's, you know, in a way, that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying. But we'll come out with an official announcement, you know, in answer to your question, with the timelines as to each stage of the way.
What's the selection process to pick these 100+ channels? I mean, do you have to, what, do you need to reach out to NBC?
They're all on NIGCOMSAT right now. So of course, you need to have a DSB license, you know, that allows you to, and then you make an application, you write to the NBC, I want to be on it. It's as simple as that. Oh, wow. Provided you do not have any restriction and we have the satellite capacity, we'll put you on.
Well done. Congratulations. This is good. We can't wait. I mean, it's about time for everybody to have access to good television. And it's really sad that some communities still don't. So with this, it's covered across Nigeria.
You know, the good thing, if I may explain further, one of the initiatives that we're going to be having a hybrid for those who need, so for those in the unreached or the rural areas where they don't easily have access to internet, you know, and knowing that data is a bit expensive, side of the world, we're going to have a hybrid decoder that, you know, with DTH you can have the signals wherever you are in Nigeria. As well, that same box lets you have access to the internet. So you could still view your apps and all of that, you know. Some of them, you know, the way, if you look at the way the viewership